Hey friends, after almost a month of nonstop visitors and friends and a little bit of time off to relax, we are back in the Old Testament, Hebrew English Jewish Publications Society, Old Testament, Tanakh. And as I was looking at the preface of this book for the first time in a long time, I want to read a paragraph. It's the final paragraph of the preface of this book, which I'd like for you to hear. Here's what it says. It says, by the favor of a gracious providence, the present company of editors was permitted to finish the work which is now given to the public. The final meeting in November 1915 was closed with a prayer of thanks to God, and the great task was completed, and that the group, which during 7 years had toiled together, was intact. Since that day, 2 of our members have been called to the Academy on high, Solomon Schechter and Joseph Jacobs. May their memory for a blessing. We grieve that it was not granted these cherished colleagues to live to see our final fruition of their labors. Their wholehearted and devoted service is herewith recorded in grateful appreciation. In all humility, their co-workers submit this version to the Jewish people in the confident hope that it will aid them in the knowledge of the Word of God. I'm going to read that last sentence because that's the reason I'm reading this. In all humility, their co-workers submit this version to the Jewish people in the confident hope that it will aid them in the knowledge of the Word of God. And that is my hope, is that the words in this book, in the Tanakh, will aid you in the knowledge of the Word of God. I'm going to do something a little bit different in the next series of videos. I'm going to be discussing theophanies. Now, to some of you, you may not have heard that word. I'm going to just read you the definition. We'll get into the text, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Here's the definition of a theophany. It says, a theophany is a manifestation of God that is tangible to the human senses. In its most restrictive sense, it is a visible appearance of God in the Old Testament period, often, but not always, in human form. It's just that simple. It's a manifestation of God in human form. And the reason I'm going to be talking about this is because that is the main objection of Jewish people in believing in Yeshua. How can a guy claim to be God? But yet what we're going to show you is that in the Old Testament, in scores of references, starting in the book of Genesis, God appeared to man in the form of a man. He appeared to Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, King David, Solomon, and others. And I've chosen the first one to read to you. It's in the book of Genesis. It's a very well-known encounter that maybe you're hearing this for the very first time. I don't know. But it's in the 32nd chapter of the book of Genesis. And here's what it says. As he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 handmaidens and his 11 children and passed over the ford of the Jabbok. And he took them and he sent them over the stream and sent them over that which he had. And Jacob was left alone. So we're talking about the patriarch Jacob. And there he wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Now the word there that's used for man is ish, which is the Hebrew word for man. But it's saying to Jacob, it looked like a man. And when he saw that he prevailed, not against him, meaning the man did not prevail, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was strained as he wrestled with him. It was dislocated. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaks." And Jacob said, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And he said unto him, "What's your name?" And he said, "Jacob." And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel," or Yisrael, "for thou hast striven with God and with men, and hast prevailed." And Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray, what's your name?" And he said, "Why is it that you're asking me my name?" And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Panim al panim is what it says in the Hebrew, face to face. And for the word God, it says Elohim. So Jacob knew exactly who he was wrestling with. God appearing to him as man. I'm continuing. I guess the key here is that, for I have seen God face to face and lived. That's also key. And the sun rose upon him as he passed over Peniel, and he limped upon his thigh. Therefore the children of Israel eat not the sinew of the thigh vein, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh, even in the sinew of the thigh vein. So even when this was written, it says to this day, and it is amongst the Orthodox community in Israel and in America, that they do not eat that portion of meat where the thigh bone connects with the hip bone to this very day. A very clear rendering of an encounter that Jacob had with God, and backed up by the text that says, "I saw God face to face and lived." I'm going to leave you with that. We'll tackle another one next time. Have a great day.